Everyone is celebrating Boston's coup, the $130 million five-year deal for Ranger Suarez, calling it a strategic counterpunch to the Yankees' acquisition of Ryan Weathers. But what if I told you that this blockbuster move, the one meant to usher in a new era of Red Sox spending, is actually the most expensive apology in recent franchise history? It's not about winning a day, it's about losing a future. And that's exactly what 618 Radar will uncover with you right now.
The narrative is powerful. Boston, finally aggressive, securing an elite lefty starter. They won up the Yankees. They made the big splash. They got their bag. But the real story begins moments before, in the chilly silence following the catastrophic failure to land Alex Bregman. We must remember that the Red Sox pursuit of Bregman, a premier offensive force, crumbled over a mere $10 million difference and, insultingly, a no-trade clause.
Bregman needed stability for his young family, seeking the reassurance of a single home, and Boston, in an act of staggering pettiness, refused. As one anonymous, high-ranking AL East official lamented to me, that wasn't a negotiation, that was ego. To lose a perennial MVP candidate over a clause that costs them nothing unless they decide to ship him to Siberia, it tells you how thin the ownership's skin really is. That failure, that sting of losing Bregman to the Cubs, forcing a radical shift in philosophy, that is the open wound this Ranger Suarez signing attempts to bandage. This is the Alex Bregman pivot, a forced redirection that has nevertheless yielded a phenomenal pitcher. Suarez securing a five-year, $130 million deal with absolutely zero opt-outs or deferrals, a subtle nod perhaps to the complicated contracts of his peers, is truly getting his bag. But let's look closer than the initial stat line. Skeptics scoff at his 3.2 ERA in 2025, pointing out his lack of 10 strikeout performances. This is the counter-argument we must demolish. That 3.2 ERA is statistically misleading, bloated by a catastrophic 7 earned run explosion in his very first start. After that anomaly, Suarez pitched to an astounding 2.87 ERA over his final 25 starts. He's not a strikeout merchant. He's an assassin of contact.
He's one of the best ground ball specialists in the game, an absolutely crucial trait when trying to navigate the Green Monster's vast, unforgiving left field. If you keep the ball on the grass, you neutralize Fenway. Beyond the grounders, his curveball isn't just great, it's arguably elite, and his changeup is lethal. But the true game changer resides in the dugout with Andrew Bailey, the pitching coach who has demonstrated an almost supernatural ability to retool approaches, elevating the fastballs of guys like Garrett Crochet and reshaping Aroldis Chapman's locations. Suarez's only bugaboo in 2025 was a plus .300 batting average against his sinker and cutter. As Dr. Ethan Reed, a renowned biomechanics expert, told the 618 Radar team last week, if Bailey can simply rework the grip and sequencing on that cutter, elevating it or moving it glove side, Suarez goes from an outstanding number 2 to a perennial 2.6 ERA ace. He has the off-speed pitches and the mental fortitude to handle that velocity improvement. And that mental fortitude is key. The man lives for October. While his regular season K9 rate hovers around 8, in the playoffs, the strikeouts spike and his ERA drops below 1.5. He doesn't just endure the big moment, he demands it. This move instantly solidifies Boston's rotation: Crochet, Suarez, Bello, Sonny Gray, and depth options like Crawford, Houck, and Sandoval. This depth is the best kind of luxury, allowing the Red Sox to be gluttonous enough to finally trade pitching, perhaps packaging someone like Tanner Houck or Cutter Crawford alongside Jarren Duran, though personally I wouldn't move Duran yet. The echoes of Grady Sizemore in his 2026 potential are too strong to ignore, for a legitimate offensive centerpiece. So Boston gets a B grade for the offseason, a high B, perhaps a B+, salvaged only by the quality of Suarez, but still marked down significantly for the sheer, avoidable idiocy of losing Bregman over a few million and a no-trade clause. Now let's talk about the victim in the scenario,
the Philadelphia Phillies. Losing Suarez leaves a gaping $130 million hole in their rotation, amplified by the looming shadow of Zach Wheeler. Wheeler, who was neck and neck for the Cy Young in 2025, requires thoracic outlet surgery and has already stated his intent to retire after 2027. This isn't just about losing a starter, it's about accelerating the end of their current competitive window. The urgency is palpable. But the Phillies are not idle. Their pivot, unlike Boston's reactive pitching grab, is targeted and offensive. This loss confirms two things. First, that Andrew Painter, widely hailed as one of the top pitching prospects in the minors, will be given an immediate and massive workload in 2026. They must paint, and Painter must deliver. Second, and this is the explosive climax of this entire offseason drama, the $130 million freed up by Suarez's departure is going directly towards an elite bat, specifically Bo Bichette. The plot twist isn't that they met, but how they met. Reports confirm a virtual meeting on Monday, perhaps over Zoom or maybe even the ghosts of Farmville. And the key quote circulating the league is Bichette's stated respect for the Phillies fan base. He loves that accountability, a source close to Bichette confirmed. He thrives on that intense, borderline aggressive energy that Philly brings. The Phillies have deep, high-upside pitching insulation in Christopher Sanchez and prospects like Gage Wood, who carries potential Spencer Strider velocity. The team knows they can afford the loss. By sacrificing Suarez, they gain the capital to fill their most pressing hole, securing an immediate superstar shortstop who could elevate their lineup from formidable to terrifying. The inverse symmetry is stunning. The Red Sox lost an elite bat and bought an elite pitcher. The Phillies lost an elite pitcher and are now positioned to buy an elite bat. In the end, it's not the acquisition itself, but the intelligent reallocation of resources that defines a successful organization. Losing a player is never fun, but the fan base will tip its cap if the pivot makes the whole organization better. Who won the breakup? The team that paid $130 million to cover an embarrassment, or the team that reinvested that $130 million into a desperate, immediate offensive upgrade? That is the real question defining the 2026 season. Thank you guys so much for watching. We love diving deep into these high-stakes baseball dramas, especially when my brain is barely functioning, despite my left eye's insistence on refusing to move its pupil. If you appreciated this analysis, please hit that like button. Share this video with another obsessed baseball fan, and subscribe to 618 Radar for more elite commentary. Now tell me, do you think the Red Sox getting Suarez was worth losing Bregman? Or did the Phillies make the smarter move by preparing to pivot their $130 million to Bo Bichette? Let us know in the comments below.